Hello, boys and girls. This old man yells at cloud for Blue Powder Monkey's Patreon. I'm still in the same clothes as I guess this one would have come up on Thursday. So yeah, for me it's the same day. The magic of television. But I took a break, got something to eat, and I'm going to get back into this standard project thing because I had kind of a cool idea. I pretty much left off more or less here, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to work on the city. And what I want to do is do like a fake QR code. Oops, I do not want to do that. So let's turn. There we go. There we go. Okay. QR corners. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to keep working on this thing here. Now, a lot of times me working on videos are made quote unquote bearable by the fact that I'm usually chatting during them. But I got woken up this morning pretty early for me. I am not feeling it today. I will tell you a story, though. There we go. That's still not perfect. So I play this game, obviously, and I usually play on Arena, or board game, sorry. I usually play on Board Game Arena. Which rates you in ELO, which I'm not sure exactly what the whole deal is with ELO. I think it started as a chess thing, I guess. I'm assuming. Anyway. So yeah, you can play friendly games where ELO doesn't matter, or it doesn't get adjusted for wins, losses, and all the rest of that. Or you can just play like normally, and then your ELO goes up and down based on the ELO of the person you play. And that's all well and good. And those are... Those are... Yeah, normal games usually, well, I guess this is a side issue. There are turn-based games and real-time games. And which is funny because all games have turns. But real-time is you're playing in real time. A lot of times you have, 2 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever, depending on, because they can set it up to do slow or whatever, slow, fast, medium speed, whatever. So let's just say 2 minutes is standard. Off by one. But turn-based games take. I did not want. Yeah. Oh, it was. Turn-based games take days. You can have like 5 days in between turns, or 7 days, or whatever you want. That's weird. I don't know why I did that. Okay. So there's a competitive mode called Arena League, or Arena, on Board Game Arena. It's in real time, and you basically play, and there's a lot of good players, obviously, that play in that mode. This is going to take forever. I wonder if there's a quicker way. Yeah, I guess it's a dupe. I wonder if it's going to matter, though. Oh, I'm at 600. Yeah, this is way too... So 100... And it's going to have to be at least as big as those. I don't know what I was thinking with this. Yeah, this is how tired I am. So So yeah, so I play a lot of Arena, and I don't care as much about my elo anymore. You kind of lose track of that when it fluctuates so much, because the guys that are super high, like, they dedicate some math skills to it and some time and all the rest of that. I get bored sometimes, or lose focus, or I'm smoking a cigar and drinking, whatever. So I'm competitive enough that I want to play Arena, but I'm not dedicated enough at this age to do all the things I would need to do to get like super good. I mean, I'm high 300, low 400 elo most of the time, all of the time, I should say, which isn't horrible at all. Like, it's pretty good, in fact. But I don't like the turn-based. Makes me very anxious to have to wonder if someone has taken their turn. Like, I'm going to run out of time. And I'm not, because it's literally like 5 days between turns. And I get it. A lot of people really like it because they are able to really take their time to do the math. But there are a lot of turns where it honestly doesn't matter. Like, most of them, in fact. What you really want is maybe like a chess timer thing. Chess timer thing where you have a certain amount of time to complete the game, and when you're just taking, quick turns or whatever, you're saving time, and then you can slow down for, like, your first turn is important, and some turns near the end, and those little, bang, bang, bang kind of things. But that's not how it is. It's 4 days, and I'm like, ugh. So I wanted to get more comfortable with it. So I decided to sign up for 2 or 3 tournaments, right? So I'm going to be like, I'm going to play in these tournaments, which are all turn-based. Take days and days and days. That's pretty close, actually. And I just went ahead and bit the bullet, so to speak, I guess, and signed up for them. And they all started this last Saturday. So I woke up bright and early, and normally on Saturday mornings, it's the old man Cuban coffee and breakfast day. So basically, I make myself a Cuban coffee, bacon and eggs, and toast. We got farm eggs from a guy around here. And then I go outside and I smoke a very small little Rothschild-sized cigar, which is like 4 inches but a little thicker. Not like the little cigarellos because it's fatter. But I'll have one of those, drink my Cuban coffee, play a game of Arena, the fast one, the real-time competitive league. And that's what I do on my Saturday mornings. But this Saturday morning, it was like, oh, I'm going to have a bunch of board games waiting for me in turn-based, or I'm going to have 3. So I open my thing up, and I'm like, the fuck is going on here? So it turns out one of the tournaments, I think, was canceled. So there's only 2 tournaments. And one tournament is Swiss, which is a form of competition. Doesn't really matter. But it's single elimination. So you're matched up against, it's sports brackets, basically. If you are the highest ELO guy, if you're like 700 ELO, you're going to get matched up against a 100 in that first round to give you the best chance to win. And there's a bunch of 100 ELOs, so a whole bunch of people are going to get to play against 100 ELOs, which is kind of the lowest you can be to kind of be in any of this stuff. And unless they are, there used to be a bunch of players on Steam that came over to Board Game Arena, so when they would show up, their 100 ELO wasn't really a 100 ELO, like they were really fucking good. And you were like, whoop. But for the most part, players that are 100 ELO are not good. Even if they've played a lot at home, quote unquote, or whatever, with their friends, quote unquote, they usually suck. They usually are not very good because they don't yet understand all games. Okay, so, we fundamentally know how to play, I don't know, football or baseball, for example. Um, Maybe not all of us can swing a bat or catch a ball or do whatever. But for the most part, kind of the general part of the game, and you can go out there and sort of like, try to catch a ball or try to hit a bat. You're capable of doing the action, maybe not being very good at it or whatever. But you're not a Major League Baseball player, not even a minor league baseball player. Right? You're not even a semi-pro league baseball player. You're a casual player, no matter how good you are. And then each time, and I think I've talked about this before way back in the day, each time you go up a step, it's a jump. You hear all these people talking about like, oh, they put together, their college team that could compete with an NFL team. It's like, you can't. You could get a team of college all-stars, and you could put them against the Cleveland Browns. No offense, Cleveland Browns, but your team sucks, and it sucked for a long time. And that college team, I don't know, 3 out of 10 games maybe. Put them up against the world champion at the time of this recording, Seattle Seahawks. They're not winning a game. Okay, maybe they're winning a game, but that's it. It's a different game. In that specific case, it's the physicality of the maturing into like physical gifts and that kind of stuff. But even in non-physical, all right, I won't worry about this placement. I'll worry about this. Even in mental stuff, chess, I guess, is the other good example. Although, I mean, I guess you could come out of nowhere with chess and blah, 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 blah. But I still feel, though, that like the difference between people that are playing in sort of the master level stuff and people who are the best in their college, or best in their town's chess club or whatever it is. Chess club? I guess that's the thing. It's just, there's a different level to games. And I'm not saying that Terraforming Mars is anywhere on the same level as professional football or, fucking Masters chess or whatever. It is just a board game ultimately. But there is a huge difference between the ELO levels. And when a lot of people in the lower ELO levels don't realize that, but like the difference between even a 1 and a 200 can be a lot. But and you can just see by the number of people who have reached that level, the drop off, right? You get to 300 and the game breaks it up by like average, good, whatever. Like if you're 100 to maybe 300, I think you're considered good. And then at 300 to 500, maybe you're considered great. And then you're like expert or whatever. So I have never, since I reached 200 ELO, let's say, I have never dropped below 200. Actually, I don't know that, yeah. God dang it, I need my things back. That was dumb of me. I don't know why I did that. There we go. So yeah, I never, the only ELO milestone, I guess, that I've dropped is 400. So I got to 100 and stayed, although you can't drop below 100 in board game once you reach there, so that's a little cheaty. But I didn't lose enough to drop down in there. I got to 200, stayed, got to, I might have dropped at 300 once or twice. But I don't think so. At a certain point, like when I got up into the mid 300s, I haven't been lower than that in a long time. And I keep going above 400 now. 400 was kind of a fluke. And now it happens on a pretty regular basis. I honestly float between probably 385-ish and 410, 415, right in there somewhere. Well, I have highs. I'm not sure what my highest is. I'm guessing like 420. I don't even think I've reached 450. But it's a rarefied air, man. They're guys that are, and ladies, there are people who are taking it seriously, right? Or potentially just have a better math brain than I do, or are just simply more patient. Again, because it's like I'm not sitting there like. Sometimes I definitely increase my focus if I'm getting involved in it. But, if it's a day where I'm feeling kind of bored and I maybe shouldn't have started playing to begin with, then I'm in trouble. Anyway, so I open up this thing, for these tournaments. And there's only 2 tournaments left that I'm in because one of them got canceled. And one of them is single elimination Swiss, which means you're playing somebody, and if you lose, you're out of the tournament. It's that fucking quick. And if you win, you continue on. And again, as I was saying, this kind of sports brackets. So, and then there's a much higher number of lower ELO. That 100, 200 shelf is pretty packed. So most people, like I was 420 and change maybe at the time that I started. And I don't even remember the exact opponent because, so what happens is I open up that, I discover the other tournament is something called grouped round robins or some nonsense. And I'm simultaneously playing 7 other people just in that one tournament. So basically I open up in the morning thinking that I'll have 2 games to keep track of. Because again, I'm doing this to try to learn how to manage my turn-based stuff a little better, get more comfortable with it. So I was like, I'll start off with 2 turn-based games. That'll be fine. Suddenly I'm in 8. The other tournament broke people up into groups of 8, and then you play the other 7, and the top 2 finishers in that group move on to the second round, which is single elimination. So I guess this was kind of just a round of, this was the regular season, honestly. Like when you play other players and you can't necessarily be kicked out until you win or lose a group of, so this is kind of the regular season, and then it just immediately becomes sudden death playoffs. And again, I had one opponent who was I think 300 and change or high 200. Pretty sure it was 300 though. All the rest were mid-low 100s to 100. And I have 2 games left because that Saturday just turned into this, even though you can take 5 days, a lot of times if someone is online, you just end up kind of trying to finish it up. You just are able to take longer than 2 minutes. So that beginning thing, you can really take your time and choose the corporation you want and all the rest of that. But yeah, I've lost 1 game so far out of 8, and it was not the single elimination, so I'm moving on to the second level of that. In fact, that person, I beat so badly they dropped out of the tournament. Well, I guess they would have been kicked out of the tournament. Never mind. But they dropped out. They withdrew because their name isn't visible anymore. And again, they were, if I remember right, because I don't even really remember that specific match, it was one of the easier ones, and I think I won by like 50 or some such. And that was the end. Because people are like, oh, these tournaments, like, it'll be fine. I can be kind of competitive because I'm competitive at home. And it's like, sometimes you can't because your friends are not. Anyway, that is slightly overlapped. I don't know whether I should move this further away or I want it to be the same. Wait a second. I can do this. This will be a little tricky doodad here. Whoop. Nope. Undo. Copy. Nope. That's not square. All right. Well, that was fun. I was like, oh, wait, I can do the thing where I wrap it around, sort of. So anyway, it was a lot. It was a whole Saturday of playing Terraforming Mars. That's so bad. That's not even close. Let's do... Oh, well, do these ones... Oh, because these ones don't. That was the issue. Because they aren't... Alright, let's do this. Alright, I can do this. That work? Oh, it didn't, okay. Expand selection. I clicked right on it. Okay. Alright. So now I can grab this, line it right up on that one, and then go bam. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. About 3. 3 makes that look intentional. And remember, we always talk about intentionality. Alright, so then let's clone this motherfucker for it is a more perfect version. That's kind of cool. Two, three. That's right. Let's get rid of those. Oh shit. Huh? Okay. Top. The top? No. No, use the top. Okay, cool. lost one game so far to a person in that round robin-y doodad, and that person has won all of theirs so far. So we'll need to see basically if they lose one and the top two people go in. So it's a pretty good chance that we'll be the two that go in, depending on, there's one other game, or I have two games left. One I'm very confident about. The other one could get a little weird. So we'll see. All right, so the idea behind this was to create some sort of city structure similar to what the game has, which you can see right above my head there. I'm not sure if it's going to work though. I haven't really planned this out. I'm sort of in experimental mode here. Let's do this actually. Seem to be doing anything. Okay, that's interesting. Overlay seems pretty okay. All right, let's hold on to this idea. And that idea. And see what we can do with these here. can't do them individually, or I mean as a group. Alright, so now I gotta figure out what my city looks like. Now something weird is going on. I wonder what it is. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, it's got to be a different color. So let's just do this. And figure out this one. I like the experimentation of this. I'm still not sure where it's going exactly. Let's see here. I'm also not sure why I have these headphones on, as I'm not currently listening to anything for some reason. this add? That's overlay. I think the third thing at this level is probably too much. Right? Okay, and that's the same as that. No, 045. Point 045. Yoink. Point 045. Yoink. All right. turn to see what it looked like on the screen here, and everything all covered up. That is an odd looking city. I don't hate it. I think maybe if the background was a little darker, maybe pop a little more. Should be all these things. Ooh. There we go. So yeah, I'm not 100% convinced regarding or irregarding this card. doesn't City have its fucking base on it? Ah, damn it. Getting close. I feel like Ganymede Colony could be out in the sticks a little longer, a little more. Let's see here. Stand projects needs to be moved up too. Greenery's it, huh? Let's see if I can do a quick greenery and we'll call it good. It's been going on for a while, but the project's been going on for a while, so I'll finish it up. Aside from the Tharisness of the Tharsis. Greenery is just a weird little tree. I don't really like that. I mean, I like it okay. There we go. I like that as a virus. Come on. Okay. Behold. Well, behold most of it anyway. Wish I knew where the actual controls were for this. 'Cause then I would just make it what I want. Control Shift W. Oh, there we go, maybe. Nice. Control 0. And then what's the Control Shift W? Control Shift W. Control Shift W. that's already on. Tab's already on. And then that's as big as it's going to get. All right. Boom. Thanks, everybody. Go check out the Patreon. Blue Powder Monkeys. That gap's too big. That's locked. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want updates or to kind of know when we do stuff. All these things are at your fingertips. Okay, before I forget to, this is all just super tweaky stuff. I want that first impression to be, orbits maybe? Yeah, there we go. Phobos. Let's go with Mars off. Okay, let's close up Deimos. Make this a little easier. Close up special colonies. Down to Mars. Down to Phobos. Okay. It's all off. There we go. Alright, and then we take that, lock it up, we unlock special colonies. We grab Phobos. So we can find Phobos. There we go. And we recenter Phobos on a fucking tile where it belongs. Welcome home, Phobos. To fit, Control 0. All right, hope you like it. Have a good rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. And thanks again for checking it out.